I am 86 years old, and I am sitting by a window that has seen more seasons than I can remember. I look out at the street where life moves fast, and I think about all the things I chased: titles, paychecks, praise. For decades, I believed those trophies held the key to lasting joy. I climbed, I sacrificed sleep and presence, and I measured myself against the next goal. But now, after 86 years, I see the truth. Those achievements brought moments of pride, then vanished like footprints at high tide. The real secret I wish someone had told me when I was younger is not a grand discovery or new technology. It is quiet, simple, and often overlooked. It is the art of choosing what matters day by day, of noticing small gifts, and of tending the people and moments that make a life feel full. If someone had told me this when I was 20, I would have wasted far fewer nights worrying and missed far fewer sunrises. Stay with me, because what I learned slowly, you can start practicing today. Society taught me to believe happiness equals success, but that lesson misled me. Soon I'll share stories, mistakes, and a simple practice that changed my days. You won't need wealth or fame, only willingness to notice and hope. Number one, the illusion of chasing success. For most of my life, I believed that success was a straight line: work harder, climb higher, and happiness will follow. I remember early mornings and late nights spent at a desk, missing birthdays and quiet dinners because I thought the next promotion would finally bring peace. I reached those goals one by one. The raises arrived, the titles changed, and friends congratulated me. For a week or two, I felt proud and light, but then new worries and new targets appeared like persistent shadows. I learned that achievement is thrilling but fleeting. It gives you a lift, then it becomes the new normal, and your heart begins to look for the next lift. The real surprise was not that success failed to bring lasting happiness, but that I had neglected where joy often lived: in the path between goals, not only in reaching them. If I could give one practical piece of advice from this mistake, it is to include small celebrations and presents along the way. Honor a quiet walk, a warm meal, a phone call with your daughter. Those moments are not rewards to be earned later. They are parts of a life that deserve attention now. I wish I had trained myself to notice small wins. If you are chasing a title, pause and ask, who will be at my table when I get there? These pauses change how you balance ambition and presence. Make presence part of success. Number two, the happiness, hidden in ordinary moments. Years of chasing taught me to celebrate milestones, but the quiet evenings brought a different kind of joy. I can still see a simple winter night when the family gathered around soup, and we spoke about nothing important. I had just closed a big deal at work that week, yet it was that soft evening that felt like the heart of life. Those ordinary moments, the laughter over spilled tea, the small song a child sings, the way the light hits a table, are not impressive on a resume, but they gather like gentle threads that knit your days together. At 86, I count these threads more than I count trophies. The real-life memory of that soup and my wife's quiet smile taught me that presence often carries more weight than achievement. If you are rushed, you will miss these simple notes. Slow down. Put the phone away during dinner. Notice the colors of your morning sky. Ask someone how their day went and really listen. Practices like naming one small joy every night or taking a 5-minute breath break can tune your senses to find happiness in routine. Those little practices do not require money or a plan. They require attention. They make ordinary life feel rich, and they build a steady happiness that does not fade when a trophy loses its shine. Start today. Notice one small thing and tell someone about it. Repeat tomorrow, and you will begin to live differently. Number 3, the mistake of waiting to be happy. For many years, I said, I will enjoy life when I retire, when the house is paid off, when the children are settled. That promise became a moving target, and happiness kept getting postponed. I remember telling myself I would finally rest after retirement. I saved time and energy for a future that arrived feeling strange. The calendars were full of empty hours, and the people I loved had different rhythms. The truth is harsh. Postponing joy is a gamble with time, and time does not always reward our waits. Waiting teaches you to stack happiness like tasks for a later date, but the later date often comes with different needs. My real-life regret is simple. I missed ordinary days while I waited for a future marked by fewer responsibilities. I wish I had learned to take short celebrations along the way. Practical steps that help me include setting small daily pleasures, like a walk after lunch or calling an old friend once a week. I made a rule. If something made me smile, I did it that week, not later. Do not wait for the right moment. Create moments. Joy grows when you allow small celebrations now. That change is ordinary and possible, and it costs little but returns much. If you delay pleasure for milestones, you may find the milestones are not as sweet as imagined. Begin with small, steady delights, and your years will feel fuller. Start now. Number 4, the power of meaningful relationships. At 86, I measure my life by the people who stayed, not by the positions I held. Relationships have been the steady currency of my happiness. I remember a friend who sat with me during a hospital stay, and the way his quiet presence made a frightening time bearable. That memory holds more comfort than any pay raise. Meaningful bonds teach you that comfort, laughter, and shared silence are priceless. They do not require perfection. They require showing up. Over the years, I learned to choose presence over performance when it mattered. The lesson from personal experience is clear. Cultivate relationships with small, consistent acts, calls, visits, honest apologies, and notes that say, I care. Those acts accumulate into a feeling of belonging. If you have strained relationships, try small reconciliations. If you have friends who weave light into your life, let them know. Prioritize time the way you would a meeting. Mark it, protect it, and honor it. Trust grows in small steps. Deep connections become the stories you tell at the end of life, the warmth you return to on hard days. Keep those people close and practice being the presence you hope to receive. I found that regular habits, weekly tea with a neighbor, a shared hobby, or a short letter, anchor relationships. These routines are the scaffolding of trust. If you want lasting happiness, invest time in people, not just projects. Small efforts now become deep comforts later. Begin them today and smile. Number 5, letting go of what doesn't matter. I wasted energy on small wars, arguments, pride, and imagined slights that seemed giant in the moment. Looking back, most were trivial. For years I kept score in my head. Who owed what to whom, who had hurt whom, and how I would remember when right. That ledger collected bitterness and crowded out softness. I recall a long-standing grudge with a brother that burned for years until one afternoon, a simple conversation cleared a corner of my heart. The relief surprised me. The lesson was brutal and freeing. Carrying grudges steals pieces of your present life. Letting go is not always forgiving someone else. Sometimes it is freeing yourself from the heavy habit of holding on. Practical ways to release include naming the emotion, writing it down, and choosing one small act of release. Calling, writing a letter you do not send, or simply deciding not to replay the hurt today. Forgiveness does not mean condoning harm. It means choosing to step out of the archive of pain and make room for joy. Try to untie one old knot and feel how much lighter you become. When I let go of that bitterness, my days grew new minutes. Minutes I spent walking, talking, and laughing instead of scheming. If you want a practical start, pick one resentment and tell yourself, I will not spend today on this. Repeat, and the practice becomes a habit that protects your peace. You will thank yourself later very much. Number 6, the freedom of being yourself. I spent decades performing, wearing titles, fitting molds, and making choices to please others. There were comforts in approval, but approval required upkeep, and it eroded a quieter truth about who I really was. At some point in midlife, I began to ask, which choices are mine and which were borrowed? I recall saying yes to a path because it seemed expected, then feeling a slow, steady ache of misalignment. The turning point was small. I refused one request that felt wrong and experienced a strange lightness. Being myself did not make life perfect, but it made it honest and gentler. Real-life choice examples include saying no to extra work to attend a child's recital, choosing a hobby that felt true to me, and speaking honestly about my limits. These were simple acts with deep rewards. The lesson is clear. Authenticity gives you permission to live with fewer masks. It reduces the effort required to maintain an image and frees energy for what matters. If you are afraid of judgment, start small. Share an honest thought with a friend or follow an interest without announcing it. Each small choice toward authenticity expands your freedom and your capacity for joy. Authenticity also improves relationships because people respond to realness. The work of becoming yourself is slow, but it pays compound interest in peace and belonging. Practice one honest act this week and notice the difference. Freedom is quiet and makes ordinary days feel like gifts. Number 7, gratitude changes. Everything I have known, hardship, loss, illness, and nights that felt too long. In one of those darker seasons, I began to list small things that were still kind: a neighbor's loaf of bread, a clear morning, a letter from a niece. That practice shifted my perspective more than any success had. Gratitude is not denying pain, it is widening the field of view so that pain and grace can both exist. My real-life experience was learning to write 3 things I was grateful for each night. The list was simple at first and gradually opened my eyes to hidden blessings. Over months, it changed how I saw my days. The lesson: gratitude trains the mind to find resources rather than only lack. It does not solve every problem, but it softens the heart and creates a baseline of contentment. Practical habits include keeping a gratitude notebook, saying thank you more often, and naming one small blessing aloud each morning. These tiny rituals create a steady reservoir of joy you can draw from. Start small and be honest with your gratitude. When you pair gratitude with action, helping others, returning kindness, you deepen the effect and build a life that feels abundant even when circumstances are modest. Gratitude also helps you notice people who need a kind word and pushes you to act. When you give thanks and give help, you create a loop of meaning. Try it for 30 days and watch how your heart changes. Begin today. Number 8. The simple secret. Most people overlook. The secret I wish I had known earlier is not dramatic. It is the daily practice of choosing presence, gratitude, small kindnesses, and honest living. I remember the day I stopped treating happiness as a future prize and started treating it as a daily habit. The change was subtle but cumulative, like water finding its way into cracks. My real life description is this. I set 3 small intentions each morning. Notice one joy, connect with one person, and do one small kind thing. That framework did not fix everything, but it shifted how my days felt. The lesson is that happiness is not found only at great summits. It is built in the ordinary footsteps between them. When you practice presence and small good deeds, your life gains a steady warmth that is resilient to loss and change. Practical action steps are simple. Write 3 intentions. Name one thing you are grateful for and give one genuine compliment before noon. Repeat these practices and watch them change your baseline mood over weeks. This is not magic. It is training. Over years, those tiny choices compound into a life that feels kinder to the heart. If you begin these habits now, you will thank your future self for the gentle foundation you built. Do it today. After 86 years, my regret is simple. I spent too many days believing happiness lived in some distant achievement. The clearer truth I carry now is that joy lives in small choices and steady presence. If I could speak to my younger self, I would say, practice noticing. Each morning find one small beauty. Each day do one kind act. Each night name one thing you are grateful for. These are small, but they accumulate. Turn regret into action. If you begin with 3 small commitments, notice one beauty, call one person, do one kind thing, you will build a life that feels softer and richer. Happiness is not a prize at the end of life. It is a daily practice you can begin today. Notice more, connect more, and let simple habits change the shape of your days. Live gently, and you will find that life returns that gentleness. If you start now, your future self at 86 will smile and thank you. The secret is simple, stubborn, and kind. Practice it every day.